Welcome to 100 Yards Football this morning. I'm your host, Vincent Turner. If you like the video today, please come and share it. It's a special video as I'm going to highlight one of the greatest running backs that ever played on the college level. And his name is Earl Campbell out of the University of Texas. So if you like the video this morning, please come and share it as I talk about this young man from Tyler, Texas, Earl Campbell. Special man. John Tyler High School set the tone for a lot of great football players that came out of the high school. Aaron Ross, Super Bowl champion with the New York Giants. Jeremy Lane that played with Seattle. Greg Ward Jr., who's right now with the Philadelphia Eagles. Tim Crowder, who played with the Denver Broncos. When you think about John Tyler High School in Tyler, Texas, we need to think about Earl Campbell. But when you think about Earl Campbell, you got to think about him. Everything is good about him. His career at Texas, the human being he is, the guy. What I look at, even now, looking at him, and it's unfortunately that the injuries in football has kind of really took a toll on him, but he's a guy that's always got that presence and that smile about him. The first time I knew about Earl Campbell is that, true story, in the fall of 1977, in October, Texas played Arkansas. Biggest game of the day. Texas ranked number 1, Arkansas number 2. That year, Mr. Campbell was the senior running back. So I was thinking about, at the time I was attending Southside High School in Memphis, Tennessee. Kudos to the scrapper class of 78 and all the other ones before me and after me. And I went on a trip up to Fayetteville, Arkansas with some of my friends because that was the school I was thinking about going to. And my cousin, Samuel Turner, was also on that trip. And we was able to go in the Razorback Stadium and see this great man perform. And what I saw that day, I said, man, and it was loud. And the Razorback fans was, ooh, Pig, Suey, ooh. Everything was loud. It was sunny. You could check the game out on YouTube. But Texas kept giving the ball to this young man right here, 6'1", 225, and they kept pounding the ball. But what I noticed, all those Arkansas players were bouncing off him. And that was the Arkansas defense that had Dan Hampton, that went on to play with the Chicago Bears. You should know him, Hall of Famer. Jimmy Walker, who's All-American at the nose guard position. They had a linebacker named William Hampton that was like dangerous. And they had a cornerback named Von Lusby. And all I can remember, them hits were coming so hard, but Earl Campbell kept getting up. 34 carries that afternoon, 188 yards. And his career at Texas was something special. When you look at the grade report about Earl Campbell, man, you think about him. He was the first real big running back at that time outside Jim Brown. I just mentioned 6'1", 225 that had breakaway speed, that'll run over you, that'll run through you, that'll run anywhere to get in the end zone and had legitimate, I know, at least 4.5 speed. But power runner, as I give his grade report this morning, A+. Inside runner, A+. And the balance for his size, A+, because he took a lot of hits, but he was still able to carry it through. Think about this. His career, 4,400 yards rushing, 40 touchdowns. He averaged almost 5.7 yards in his career. Came to Texas as a fullback. Then he moved into a halfback his sophomore and junior year. Then he went to the I formation under new head coach Freddie Akers at the time. University of Arkansas, he came over from Wyoming. And that's when Earl Campbell was born. And he played on a good team that year that should have won the national championship. That Texas team had some stars, Brad Shear, Steve McMichael, Alfred Jackson, Johnny Lamb Jones, the Olympian sprinter, and Johnny Johnson. It's a shame that team didn't win it all. But Earl Campbell, he was the eyes of Texas, man. Very special football player. And don't take what I said. Barry Switzer said when he was recruiting them in high school, he said in the early 70s, there was no football player that I ever seen that was this special that can go from high school to pro. But a guy that gave him the more kudos, and I don't lie about Earl Campbell, is Bill Belichick. The words of Bill Belichick, oh my God, a truck, a tank, explosiveness, and ability to break tackles. Bill Belichick said that who now might be the greatest football coach on any level, over there with the New England Patriots, who's won 7 Super Bowls. That's what Belichick thinks about him. But when you think about Earl Campbell, the talent was special. And he went on to a great career in the National Football League, most MVP. But as a rookie in 1979, his second year in the league in National Football. But one thing about Earl Campbell, he changed the thinking in Texas. Because, see, when he came through football and the state, was divided in the early 70s. And when they passed that bill, when they segregated the high schools in his hometown of Tyler, Texas, and he went on to his career at the University of Texas, the whole state of Texas just kind of changed. And Earl Campbell set the tone. And man, he was a special football player. But the thing that's always going to go to my mind, and this is outside the game, what I like about Mr. Campbell, we could talk about him being compared to all the great running backs, Emmitt Smith, Barry Sanders, Walter Payton, the great Jim Brown. But this is what separates me about Earl Campbell. In 1981, he was named the official state hero of the state of Texas. He brought about racial harmony. Think about this. In 1981, he was voted official state hero of the state of Texas. And only 3 other gentlemen have ever had that award. When you get through watching this video today, do me a favor, everybody out that's been supporting 100 Yards of Football. Go look up what that honor means. The official state hero of the state of Texas. And you know the only other 3 guys that had that award given to them in the history of Texas being part of the United States? Remember the Alamo, the war in San Antonio. The only other 3 people outside Earl Campbell, David Crockett, Stephen F. Austin, and Sam Houston, all of them associated with the Alamo. And this young man playing football at Texas, winning the Heisman Trophy in 1977, bringing that football program to Providence. That's how much these people in the state of Texas love them, whether you're white, whether you're black, whether you're Mexican, whether you're Asian, whatever. That's when I cover this sports of football, man, and during our times that we're going through right now, I want every football fan, please, go look up what this award means. The official state hero of Texas. They only had 3, and Earl Campbell was voted number 4. And me having the honor as a 17-year-old traveling up to Fayetteville, Arkansas, that sunny day in October, seeing him carry that load 34 times for 188 yards. I know I was witnessing greatness. And you think about Earl Campbell, I want everybody here today on 100 Yards Football, think about greatness. The guy ran with power, speed, the ability to run over. He was old school football, and that's why they gave him the nickname the Tyler Rose. I get chill bumps when I ever think about Earl Campbell, man, official state hero, what he did for the state of Texas, what he did for that Texas program. That's why all you Longhorn fans, the Longhorn Network, man, y'all better very stay loyal and get that man everything he need, because he brought the state of Texas together, man, when he played football at Texas. One more time, 4,400 career yards, 40 touchdowns on the ground, averaged almost 5.7 yards a carry. A true warrior. Warriors, come out to play! Earl Campbell, official state hero in 1981. Only 3 other guys: David Crockett, Stephen F. Austin, and Sam Houston. Special guy, special football player, and went on and had a great career in the National Football League with the Houston Oilers. So my final words when I think about Earl Campbell, and everybody know I love music. I'm 61 years old and I love country, I love rock, I love rap, I love R&B. But back in 1977, they had this group came out of Topeka, Kansas by the name of Kansas. And they had a song that said, "There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more. Carry on my wayward son. There will be no feeling done. There no more. Don't 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 don't. Carry on in the seed and the sowing." That Kansas was a bad band, and their lead singer Steve Walsh was off the Kids Are. That's what I think about Earl Campbell. He carried on Wayward's son, and he carried on the state of Texas and the University of Texas during the 1977 season. So if you like the video today, please comment and share it. I'm Vincent Turner, 100 Yards of Football, and I'd like to give special thanks to my producer, who's done an outstanding job today, Mr. Logan Landers from Douglasville, Georgia. So be blessed this week. And the state of Texas, please give kudos, hook 'em horns, to me, your greatest football player that ever played in the history in the state of Texas, Mr. Earl Campbell. Y'all be blessed here on 100 Yards of Football.